Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Day Trading for Everyone. Um, my name is Michael Filigera, and I am going to be presenting equity trading to you for today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Um, First, a couple of housekeeping notes just for everybody. If you do have a question, you can go ahead and put it through on the question box, and then I will see it and we'll try to get those answered. Um, as we move along, I may ask for a particular, uh, if you have a particular stock that you want or that you have an interest in that I'm not maybe speaking about, please feel free to put that across. And let's jump in and get started. As everyone is likely aware, we had a pretty strong down day on Friday, and we are seeing some follow through selling this morning. And one of the very first things that I do each and every day is that I take a look at the broader markets to see what's going on. And as you can see, the screen that I have up right now is actually via Thinkorswim, and it is my watch list. Now, included on my watch list is, as you, and first of all, let me just ask, can everybody hear me and can everybody see my screen? So if you could just put a Y or an N in the question box, then we can continue along. I just want to make sure that you guys can see my screen. Okay, great. Um, what I normally do is I take a look to see, I build what I consider market awareness. And what market awareness is just kind of taking a look to see what is happening today. What would expectations be? What do you think should be happening? So I think you kind of come in with an idea, and unfortunately, we're going to hear a lot of that in the background because, and I will go over that. Those are my those are signals, and they're coming from uh, the Eagle and the Falcon, which are DTS. And we'll get over this in a second. So just bear with me as we continue to listen to those. At least you can tell that we are getting signals. So, anyway, I take a look at the market. Now, again, last week on Friday, we saw what I would consider the support or the legs of the NASDAQ bull market being just kicked right out from underneath it. We had tremendous volume in the NASDAQ future, which is right here in the NQ. And right now, we're already within the first 3 minutes of trading seeing a return of some really solid volume. This particular future normally trades between 150, 180,000 contracts a day. Well, on Friday, it traded 550,000 contracts. So there was tremendous volume. And that was kind of a signal to me that, something's up, somebody's catching on, or there's a large group that's just moving out. So, what I look at, first of all, I look at the Dow right here at the top. The Dow's only down 5 points right now. We've got the future down right here. That's the YM down about 28. So we're going to look for the Dow to kind of, when it finally gets everything open, to be open about 25, 30 points lower. That's not too severe considering, Friday we were down about 150. So then I move down and I take a look and see what's the dollar and the euro doing. That's the 6E right here. And it's up a little bit. So, nothing really happening too much there. We've got crude oil down about a half a dollar. And then we've got the ES, which is the S&P E-mini. Now that's a future product and it's down 550. We have gold, which is the next one down. We've got that down about 460. And that is not too much in being pushed in either direction. Next, I have natural gas, which these are just some of the things that I trade and that I look at. But more importantly, we have the NASDAQ now bouncing up off of its lows that we saw just a moment ago at 3504. It's now bouncing higher. And this can move very, very quickly. We have the Russell 2000, which has been a market leader in the rally and also on down days. So right now it's down about a 0.5%. It's down $6. And we were seeing that that is not working too much off of its already created lows. So then I have right below that a volatility index, and that's the VIX, the VIX. And the volatility index is very, very important to watch because as we trade equities, the volatility index is also called the fear index. So it's kind of a measure as to what traders are believing can happen. When there's a lot of complacency in the marketplace, you're going to see volatility be very, very low. And I want to tell you, 15 is pretty low in volatility. And I suspected that on Friday, after Friday, that we were going to see them come in and really start to move this index uh, as more and more traders start to believe that downside can really kick in. And as you can see, it's now happening right here in the Russell Index, which was just down 6. It's now down 820. Um, Continue to look for the Russell to lead as we see a lot of this support for the markets to kind of get kicked out from underneath it. I do suspect that that's going to continue. Now, remember, here's another thing. So we're building our momentum, not our momentum, but we're building our picture for the day on what we think could or could not happen. And so right now it is setting up as a negative. But are we pulling into a low? Are we pulling into a temporary high? That's what we're going to use our DTS signals to help us determine. So I kind of pay attention to the market right away. I'm now looking at bonds. Bonds are up about a quarter of a point. You know, 12 ticks on the 30-year bond. Excuse me, about 5 ticks on the 10-year, which is ZN, and ZF is the 5-year note. So regarding, I pull up the 5-year note right now and I look at the whole realm because 5 years, of course, is very short term, 10-year right in the middle, and the 30 years the long term bond. And what I'm looking for there is to see just how the market is perceiving what is going to be happening to interest rates. Do they think interest rates are going to be higher on a long term base, or do they think that they're just going to affect more the short-term rates? And right now, they are looking more towards the short term. So from what we're seeing right now, that the market really believes that short-term rates are going to go higher, but long-term they may just kind of balance out and hold lower. Um, okay, so we've got the Dow down about 33, and we've got the S&P down 8. We've got the NASDAQ has not really broken out of its range that we already saw overnight, so it's down about 26. But the Russell is continuing to lead us lower, and it was just down 10 as we can see. It just pulled into putting a new session low in at 1139. So that's going to be important to keep our eyes on. Okay, let's go over and take a look at DTS because that's all that noise in the background that you're hearing. And okay, let's kind of put this guy down. All right. That froze up my screen. Come on. There you go. Um, and essentially, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to kind of show you what I've got going on here. Um, I run equities, and I run my equities through the Eagle and the Falcon. And the Eagle is a trend trader, so it's going to be a little bit more on what is more over a shorter period of time. So in other words, you're going to see that we're going to have a trend for maybe the next hour, 2 hours, or maybe even the whole session. And this is the Eagle in the NASDAQ. So I'm going to be looking and you're going to see all these, what are all these squiggly lines and what are all these different things that we have on there. First, let me just kind of go over what I set up. So what you're hearing are the audible signals. And what I have done is that you can re-record your audible signals so that you're going to be drawn to what stock is happening. So when I'm hearing swing short, LNKD, that's LinkedIn. And of course, that's this signal. And this signal is telling me is that what's going on here in LinkedIn, as you can see, we're getting a lot of signals of the markets really kind of flipping and flying around. So let's just take a look at LinkedIn right now. One thing I'm going to be adding is I'm going to add a few uh, indicators that are going to help us to determine what is going on in this stock today. And hit apply. Hopefully, oh, I'm off to a good start, aren't I? That that was not supposed to happen. Let's go over here. Let me do us all a favor. And yeah, I'm going to close that down for right now and see if that's not going to help me pull this guy back up. That's interesting as to why that happened. And I'm trying to add an indicator. Let's go down and let's remove that indicator and see if we can't get our chart back. We're just going to move on and let that guy catch up with us and see what's going on. Okay, the trend is our eagle. And we're getting a signal here that is basically telling us that we have a setup. So we have the possibility that the market is going to move higher. So we're going to pay attention to our signal. We're going to try to figure out, okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to enter the market? Do we want to not enter the market? You have people that are going to be that don't trade within that first hour. You've got people that do trade within the first hour, and it's all up to each individual style. And I think that what we need to do is when before we move in, I always have a trade objective, and I always have what an idea of what I'm attempting to do. So when I'm trading a stock like LinkedIn, which is it's just a stock that it trades over $100, um, I set these up in the Eagle on tick sizes. And because this is a stock that basically is over $100, you have to increase the tick size because otherwise your signals are going to be very, very close, and you're just going to be getting bounced back and forth and not really picking up the moves that you're going to want to participate in. For example, in this particular move, now this was from Friday, so we kind of come in and midday, and we get a sell signal, and you can tell that you could just have ridden that down from 168, and you want to get out by the close. So we'll be fair to the conversation, and the close would have been about right there, 166. So it's a $2 move. And that is what I'm looking for. So when I set this up in LinkedIn, I have to take into consideration what are the possibilities of this stock? What can it do? What can it do? LinkedIn has an intraday range lately of being approximately between $5 and $10. So considering that I need to kind of balance that out and so how do I want my signals to be measured, I want to go in and when I trade, I want to be pulling $1 to $2 out of the market, particularly in LinkedIn. Is the stock capable of doing that? Yes. So now when I'm choosing a stock, I also want to be very, very clear that all stocks are not created equal and all stocks are not really top candidates really for day trading. When I'm taking a look at a stock, there's some basic criteria that I look for that I want to make sure is happening, and that is the following. The first thing I look for is I look at the bid ask spread. Now that's the difference between the bid and the offer. So if we're going to take a look at LinkedIn, LinkedIn right now is 164 bid at 164.48. That's pretty wide. That's very, very wide, actually. So I'm looking at, I might be a little bit more cautious about entering in to a like a swing trade or a scalp trade, because what you're trying to scalp, maybe you only want to scalp 50 cents out of LinkedIn. Well, if the spread between bid and offer is 50 cents, you're either going to get it right away or you're going to get stopped out. So you've got to put this into your form when you're formulating what you want to do in the stock. And a stock like LinkedIn, right now, the bid ask is a little bit too wide for me to want to go in and trade, because what we're finding is right now it's about a 50-60 cent spread between the bid and the ask. The volume is there, but we're seeing that it's a one-up market. So there's a lot of caution in the market right now. So this is your market awareness. Okay, so you're building this. And what we're seeing is that the bid ask is a little bit too wide. And I want to let the market play out a little bit, and I want to just see that kind of come in. Now, does it have volume? Yes. We're seeing that right now there's about 500,000 shares have traded already in LinkedIn from overnight to in the pre-market session and now coming into our day session. When that market starts to tighten up and I can get some solid signals from the eagle, then it might be worth playing. Now, what's my trade objective? My own personal trade objective is that I try to at least pull $100 per trade from whatever I'm trading. Now I can then now need to break that down and I start to equate it. And how am I going to do that in LinkedIn? So in LinkedIn, if you're going to trade only let's say you're going to trade 200 shares. If you're going to trade 200 shares of Facebook, what do you need to get $100? You need a half a cent move. Right now, as we can see in LinkedIn, the bid-ask spread is tightening up a little bit, but it's still 35 to 40 cents. Well, if I'm looking only to make 50 cents, how much do you want to risk? So maybe I'm going to risk 1 to 1, and that would be this right here. The risk right now is telling me that, yeah, you can risk 1% of your account to make 1%. Okay, so I might leave that alone for right now and let the market kind of develop. But let me just kind of go over what else I have on this screen that's going to help me determine what I want to do. First thing I want to do, let's add some of the indicators that do come with. And I did this on purpose. If you get DTS 5.0, you're going to find that all of these will be right there for you. The first one that I want to add is the ultimate support and resistance lines. What the ultimate support and resistance lines will now do is they will start to form. And of course, I got that, and I'll have to check that out in a minute to see why that didn't happen. So we'll take that off and let the market kind of develop a little bit. One of the other things that I really like to put, and this is an indicator that I use, and it is the fast stochastic. The fast stochastic is a momentum indicator. And momentum indicators are very important, I think, for when you're day trading. And how I use them is that when it gets above this line, which is 81, approximately 80%, it's starting to get overbought. When it gets below this line, which is basically 20, it is oversold. So right now, LinkedIn sits right in between. So it has some momentum. It could push higher. And that could be good. Now, here is a very important fact that you need to keep in mind when you're looking at this stochastic momentum indicator. This chart is a tick chart. So I am receiving every single tick that LinkedIn trades. That is what's being filtered and being brought in and produced into a chart. So being that it's a tick chart, my time frame is very, very short term. And therefore, this can change as quickly as the stock price. So what we're seeing is pushed up, and that's being reflected here in the market. And we're going to see it kind of a stock can get up here and stay overbought and really not move all that much. So these indicators, along with the chart, are very, very short term. They're tick charts, and we must keep that in mind. excuse me, when we're using DTS in equities market, it is very, very effective. It does work, but these are day trading instruments. If you're a position trader, you really need to contact me to see how this is all going to work for you. But as a day trader, these are some of the best instruments on the market. So, okay, getting back to this chart on LinkedIn, I just want to kind of go over it's like what I'm looking for. We're now going to continue to look. I see that the market is kind of settling into where it wants to be so far today. And I see that we've got the Dow, and I had to close mine because it was just really affecting, but I have it on a different computer. The Dow's down about 62. The S&P's down about 10 and a half. The Nasdaq's down 28, but the Russell is down 11. So the Russell is again leading. The Russell's already down 1% on the day. And we're going to continue to keep our eye on that because what essentially it begins to tell us is that if the Russell's going to lead, the Russell's down 1%, will the other markets follow? So would I then expect to see that the Nasdaq move down 1%? Yes, I will begin to look for that. And I would think that the Dow and the S&P will eventually catch up too. Uh, but essentially, I'm going to tell you, after watching the trade this morning, I think that the markets are pulling into a very near-term low, and they're going to bounce. And so I kind of been starting to look for that. You know, you get that initial selling out, you get the people that want to sell it are out. Again, the overall tone may be negative, but we're not really seeing the sellers kind of come in and just really hit bids like they did on Friday. So we're going to start to begin to look for a little bit of a turn. Now I'm going to go back to LinkedIn because I just want to show you this is the Eagle. Again, this is our trend trader. And I just want to go over some of these indicators that I'm using here and how I use them. And of course, first of all, we have where the market is. It's trading at 165.36.74. As you can see, this market will flip and fly. In fact, I'm going to go to a different stock rather than, and that one just is not going to come back. Let me find out why. Why did that happen? I'm going to leave that up because I'm going to call our technical support guys and see why it didn't. Interesting, I would say. I'll just leave that for right now. One of the things, let's go over and take a peek at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ being uh, an index, and it's going to encompass all of our equities. And this also gives me a lot of indications. And this is more interesting. Now, here we have the Eagle running in for the NASDAQ future, which is the June future. And I've got it set at 12 ticks, and that's approximately 3 points. So what essentially in here is that we're looking for moves between $1, $2, and $3 in the index. Can that happen? Yes, it can happen frequently. And in fact, we've just saw it. Come on, give me my crosshairs. When the market really pulled from 304, it made its low at 34.99 about 10 minutes ago, and now it's already rallied back up $17. These are great, 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 great trading moves. Now, here's the indicators that I have. This is the curtain, also called the chandelier, but I really love this. This is when you're using the Eagle, you're going to get this curtain. What the curtain is going to begin to tell you is that this is the hard edge, and you can see it's a little bit of a darker line, and the soft edge runs underneath it like this. You see how this is beginning to really get very thin. Well, that's beginning to tell me that if this market continues to hold itself higher and above the curtain is going to invert where the hard edge is going to slip below and the soft edge will move above. And that is going to produce a more bullish move. Okay? So again, curtain. This is the hard edge. This is the soft edge. When it breaks above the hard edge, it produces a signal to buy it. And if the market stays above and continues to build on this rally, then what we're going to see is we're going to see the hard edge invert and go below. And that's going to continue to produce. That's a signal that's beginning to tell us that the momentum is to the buy side and that they're going to continue to buy the market. Another indicator that I use is the ATR trail indicator. This indicator, when combined with the Eagle or the Falcon, I find pulls some of the strongest and most consistent signals that you can get. And I'm going to go and show you. Let's go to today. Here we are today. We got a bounce. The blue is long or bullish. The red, of course, bearish or sell. We had our early run up right after the opening. The market ran up to 22, 35.22, and then started to come off. The Eagle gave us a short setup. That's what that red dot is. Gave us a short setup. Then on the next bar, the NASDAQ or the Eagle gave us a additional short setup, but it gave us a hash mark, which was actually a level where you would want to go short. The ATR indicator confirmed that signal by, again, inverting itself and going from being long to being short. That signal combined produces a fairly strong move, and you can see what the result was. Here was our confirmation from the Eagle, and that basically happened because the market broke below the soft edge of the curtain. And by doing that, you get a sell signal at 35.14. Now the market starts to move lower. The Eagle lets us know right here that, well, okay, you've got a buy setup, not to go in, but a buy setup. And I look towards my ATR indicator, which is like if I'm short from here, here's my stop. My stop is going to be trailing. And then so I've got my stop at 35.16, and it's protecting this short. Now let's see if this develops right here. So we just got another signal basically telling us that we have the possibility of a short setup. And again, I'm going to take a look at the overall market. We pulled into a very strong low. So you're kind of looking like, okay, the market I think is just going to really develop and bounce from here. And that's going to be important to kind of keep your eye on. Because here's some facts, folks. Before I really go on and start to talk about DTS and how I use DTS, you got to bear in mind that these are only numbers. That's how the market is trading these days. It's not a matter of, gee, who's bullish and who's not bullish. It's a number. And you have algorithms running for the entire session. And don't get confused that if you see everybody moving in, that suddenly the mood is bullish and they're going to run the market and everything is okay. No, it's just a number, and that's all they're doing is trading at that particular moment. If they're pushing the market up, it could be a whole bunch of different reasons. And quite frankly, you can't care. If you do care, you're going to miss the trade. If you're sitting there trying to figure out why is the market going up, you're going to miss the trade. So remember, it's just a number, and that's what we're doing. We're just trading the number, and we're trading the number to make money. So with that in mind, we run an algorithm, and it's called the Eagle. And we have another algorithm, and that's called the Falcon. And then we have a third one called the Hawk. The Hawk is a microscalper. The Falcon is a swing trader. And the Eagle is a trend trader. Now, to use these in combination, we have right now, we have This is our trade forecaster up here in the corner. And you can see that there's a trend trade. The scalping is suggested right now. And actually, it's telling you to basically, and that a trend is suggested in about an hour. Well, I think the trend actually kind of came in, and you've got $17. And so I think that's a very, very sweet trade. And now we're just trading a number. You don't care why the stock is going up. You don't care why the index is going up. You just want it to do one or the other. When they don't trade, then it's really just, it's like watching paint dry, and you just don't want to participate. So I depend on my signals, and my signals that are generated by the Eagle and the Falcon. And what I attempt to really move in and determine first thing in the morning is I'm going to allow the Eagle to tell me what's the trend. Where's the trend going? Well, right now, I think the Eagle has kind of told us that the trend right now was early, was early down. As you can see here, let me just switch this back to a pointer, was down. And we got a confirmation of that from our ATR indicator. But then the Eagle told us about a long setup. That's what that green dot is. And then the ATR confirmed it. Now, this signal was nothing more than our algorithm doing what it was supposed to do when the market broke back below the short edge. The soft edge. Then we got a signal to sell. But we did not get a confirmation from the ATR. That kept you out of that trade. And then you can see what happened right after that. We got a signal to buy, and we got another hashtag, which is this is our level to come in, and the Eagle confirmed the trend. And again, it gave us a signal here that, okay, let's pay attention. We may be wanting to sell. But again, our ATR did not confirm it, and we continued to move higher. So this becomes a nice little runner. So if you would have gone in and you purchased at, let me go back to my crosshairs, 1275, you had a nice trade. Stock ran all the way to 32. And in essence, here's your trail. Here's your stop. Now your stop is walking up with the market. Here you got a signal, but your stop is safely in place and out of harm's way. So the market can do what the market wants to do. You're protecting your profits and you're out of harm's way. Now it's just going to walk up. And here we get a little bit of sideways action, which can be an indicator that this is about ready to turn lower again. But again, you're letting the market do what it wants to do, and you're staying out of harm's way, but you're protecting now a $13 profit. Nice trade. So in combination, these two indicators are magnificent and very, very clear and very clean. And so what I tend to also look at is when you look at what the range is for any particular day, that kind of can help you understand what are the possibilities for a bounce. And here are some of the things that I use. I am an Elliott wave analyst, and I also use Fibonacci numbers. Now let's just see how this signal may or may not develop. Here again, if we were long there, you're sitting here. This is where your stop is, and now we're just going to see what the market wants to do. Again, what we did, we gave some market awareness. We knew that they were going to come in as sellers this morning, but we felt that the market was basically pulling into a low. This is based on that it comes in after Friday's heavy down day. We see some initial selling coming in, and then we see that they step back into the market. And we're seeing, again, some rotation of stocks. For example, this morning I'm noticing that Netflix is up fairly strong. So Netflix is making a very strong recovery right now. I mean, it got beat up pretty badly last week, and it's up at 9. So what's that going to have as an effect on the Nasdaq future? It's going to have a big effect because it has a heavier weighting in the Nasdaq future than than LinkedIn. Excuse me. So market awareness is really going to help you when you have an understanding of what makes your market tick and what affects the Nasdaq future. And the Nasdaq future is basically only 100 stocks. So, and you need to kind of take a look at how these stocks are weighted within this index. Right now, we're going to take a look at Apple is a heavily weighted stock in the Nasdaq future. So is Priceline, so is Google, and so is Netflix. These are the titans, as I call them, within the Nasdaq. So when these things really start to get hit, here again, we're seeing a buy program come in. And that is what we're seeing right now. And we're getting another buy signal. But again, here, look at this. We're already long based on this early signal here. So you could either add to your position or you're just going to run this up and you're going to see how it goes. Now, again, market awareness. Top of the hour, I live on the Pacific, on the West Coast, excuse me. So that's what these time frames are. So 7 o'clock is 10 o'clock in the Eastern, and that is when uh, the majority of algorithmic traders turn on their computers and come into the market. Why they choose that top of the hour, I don't know. Don't really care. I'm just letting you know that's what happens. So they came in as first one was kind of buyers, and now we're seeing that maybe they're going to sell. Okay, bing, we got a setup, you got an indication, and your ATR confirmed it. So I would think that that was 35. This was, you got about 36 points. Now you can slide maybe 10, 12 points. So the eagle is not going to necessarily confirm this by giving us a sell signal until we start to break the hard edge. Now remember what I said? Here we are, thin, 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 thin. We got a buy signal. It starts to build. The hard edge inverts. The hard edge is now lower. The soft edge is the upper boundaries. We've seen this rally. So now are we going to get a test of the extreme? The extreme would be lower. I don't think it's going to get that far unless the market really breaks down. But I would be looking for that first pullback was right into here. So that's 8 points, 34 to 25, 9 points. And it's already done that very, very quickly. And right now, we're still, see, you're hearing those in the back. The swing trade now, and this is the eagle, and this is the falcon. So let's just take a peek. The falcon is kind of giving us a green bar. The falcon gave us a short signal. But okay, so now you can see the difference between the eagle and the falcon. This is also the NASDAQ. So here we have Day Ranger, and I like to keep this on because I want to get an idea of what's the range and how it's building. And last Friday, the range was actually bigger than that. Um, but we're seeing 143 um, ticks on the range thus far today. And that was from this low up to this high. And you can see that this is really playing the little tiny swings, but it's on the same basis. Let me just change something. I want to kind of thin out these. And you can go in and you can determine and you can really choose what size you want to have on your bars. I don't like the fat bars. I kind of like the skinnier bars. But here we are. We're seeing that we have getting a buy signal. And I'm just going to go ahead and load this on my Falcon. Say OK. And it is now set up. So this is our trade manager. We're ready to trade. And we're seeing that the market really wants to kind of, again, put in its little run. And here we have 1, 2, 3. This kind of just ended up being, this was a 3. And then we have 4. And we got a little run at 5. So the market still, I believe, wants to probably get up here, get some initial buying. Now we've got the NASDAQ now wanting to lead the way higher. And the NASDAQ was down over 20. Now it's only down 250. We've got the Dow down about 43. Yeah, but see how quickly they hit that. That's amazing. And there we got a signal. So you can do one of two things. You can go in and you can take that signal and I think you do have some downside. So you can, but I'm not going to. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm more or less teaching. This annoys me. I don't know why that's happening. All right. Let's kind of do a runaround, that what I call a runaround, and see what is going on in our stocks. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if I can put up our ultimate support and resistance lines. This is not, again, it's not doing it. Okay, I need to check in to see why, because that is not supposed to be happening. And it wasn't happening yesterday, but we're now having a little bit of a problem. So I am going to see what else I can put up. We're going to look at our, well, let's just look for Tesla. We're going to look again. Let's look at our day ranger. And I'm going to apply that. And that's going to be up here in the corner. Now, you can load more days in. See, right now it's 10 days. And you can back this up. And if I'm going to put in 25, and then that's going to help increase my day range. So I can take a look at, what's it really been happening. So now there's 17 days loaded. And my average 10-day range is, look at that, 1,297. So it's really, it's got almost a $13 range. And we saw on Friday, it had a $17.50 range. And already today, it's had $11.20 range. These are nice ranges. And you want to sometimes, you want to go in and you want to try to grab these. So let's go in. And I'm going to also show you, I'm going to load the trade manager. And you will go over to template manager if you need to use that. And it just really kind of sets things up for me and what my targets are. Now we're getting these that the market might be turning. Now this gets interesting because, yeah, when you get all these setups on the short side, it may be getting ready to turn lower again. We got LinkedIn, it was down, now it's up. We've got the NASDAQ cash market higher. So it could be an interesting day. Netflix leading the way. Netflix, good for you. But here we are in Tesla. Here we have our curtain, which some people call it the chandelier. And this, again, is the hard edge and the soft edge. You see how on the way down, it inverted. So this kind of showed us some upside and then it inverted to the downside. We got confirmation. We didn't necessarily get a short setup here, but we got the ATR telling us, uh-oh, things might start to head down. This was on Friday afternoon. We got late. If you trade after hours, you got a sell signal, and that basically held all the way into this morning. And right away after the opening, the ATR indicator gave us an indication that may not really be looking to go down. Now, Tesla still has not really, the eagle has not given us a buy signal. So the trend in Tesla is still up in the air if we follow the the eagle. Now again, I'm using 134 ticks. Now that's pretty wide. And why? Because Tesla is a stock that trades $216. So when you're going to get a move in Tesla, I'm looking for $2 or $4. I'm not looking for, 50 cents. I mean, 50 cents could be what's between the bid and the offer. So you're looking for a larger move, therefore you lose a larger tick size. And these are important. Um, what, and I'm just kind of looking here for a second, guys. So we're not getting any signals in terms of what trend is developing here in Tesla. So if you're really interested in trading Tesla, then maybe you want to go over and you want to take a look at the Falcon. The Falcon is our swing trades. And you're going to see there's quite a few trades already. We got yeah, the NASDAQ futures now up a little bit. And that's presenting an interesting situation. Um, we did get a signal here early, right on the opening in the second bar to buy. We got a setup, we got to buy. These are the Falcon. Now the Falcon is just going to be catching these shorter trades. And that is important to bear in mind. What the Eagle does is presents us with trends. What the Falcon does is gives us the shorter term, the little swing trades. These are what I consider swing trades. This ends up being a swing trade, but it really was pretty much kind of what maybe the trend for today is going to be. We're looking for recoveries. Yeah, and the Nasdaq is now in the plus. Or it's the only one in the plus, and it's being dragged higher by Netflix of all stocks. We have Tesla up to 40. We've got Twitter up. We've got Facebook up. So these stocks are gonna, they're doing a little bit of recovery. And interesting. Um, so here we have the Falcon. The Falcon is going to give you a whole lot more signals. Here we have Tesla moving. We had a signal here. We had it confirmed there. So we had the Falcon give us a sell signal at almost $215, or just below. And it's already $1 in your pocket, $1 in your pocket. And the ATR indicator is giving you confirmation. And if you're trailing the stop, you're here. Now, how do I use this indicator? Okay, let's take a look. See how much selling took place? The stock dropped $3 and it went from overbought to oversold. Again, keep in mind, it's a tick chart. It's a tick chart. So this begins to tell me how I want to develop my own strategy. Do I want strategy to kind of work with me or against me? I usually will not enter a position if I'm only getting a single signal, and I like to get a double confirmation. So in other words, that's telling me to sell, that confirmed the sell. So maybe I waited and still went in at the same point, but waited for my confirmation. Now we're getting kind of, it's starting to work itself maybe higher, but I think it's going to get caught up. And the other thing to keep in mind, I mean, today's a good day to kind of keep an eye on the market, guys, but you got to bear in mind that the volatility has been kicked up several notches. So these markets are going to move and they're going to move fast. So you really got to be careful. And what I mean by being careful is you must have your trade objective, you must have your trade strategy in place, and you really must work with stops. Don't fool yourself thinking that you're going to be able to get out or you're going to get out, that you can work without stops. I think that is a sure sign of disaster waiting to happen. And these markets are going to move very quickly, and you want to be able to come back and you want to be able to trade. So being able to take stops and being able to take loss is a big part of developing how you want to trade. And I'm just going to leave this particular stock up for right now, guys. Give me 2 seconds and I'll be right back. The morning coffee is kicking in. I'll be right back. Thank you. Okay, now we're back. So let's just kind of go over what I've laid out so far. Because basically, what I'm intending to do is to basically teach you how I trade, what I look at. And this is all leading up to, of course, next week we begin a DTS profit run, which will just be trading. Um, my style of trading is going to be different than what you may find with other people. My style of trading is that I just love the whole action of it. I like to get in, I like to get out, and so I trade options, I trade futures, I trade commodities, I trade equities. You trade it all. So here we just got a signal that we're just going to go down. Let's just take it. Let's just take a gamble. And we'll do it with 100 shares. And well, of course, it's going to move faster than we did. So if we can get a little bounce in here, there, we got a little bounce. We're just going to see, but again, am I going to take that signal? Because I'm only looking for a quick trade, okay? This is telling me, maybe not. You're going to get that. See this move? And bing, see what happens? Bing. So you get a little bit of a move. I got to let this come up a little bit. I still might choose to sell it. I still think that the market will turn around and head lower, but right now it's telling me that it's kind of going to come in as buyers. So that prevented me from jumping right in and go, oh, I got to sell, I got to sell. This was a stronger sell signal because look, your indicator was telling you you had more room for sellers to move in and bring prices lower. And they did. They brought them down $2. Good enough for me. I'll take that trade. Here, we're getting a signal that we possibly could buy it. Do we have room to the upside? Yes, we do. But the market's kind of telling me that we may be turning. So we're in this transitional period. We're in this period where the market's now really trying to determine what it wants to do. So and part of your market awareness is to understand that you've got a whole bunch of different types of trader in these stocks, in the futures, and everything that's in the market. You've got algorithmic computer traders. Excuse me. What are they doing? They're just trading an algorithm. That algorithm is really going to go in and just if A plus B equals C, that gets executed. You've got high frequency traders, and they're coming in and they're buying baskets of stocks. So you've got index arbitrage traders, which are really doing nothing more than trading the difference between the futures market against the cash market. Is Tesla part of the NASDAQ 100? It most certainly is. So Tesla's move is going to be affected by what happens in the broader market, which is the NASDAQ 100. When the NASDAQ 100 gets pushed because of an index arbitrage and they're coming in to buy stocks, they're going to buy Tesla. That's going to have a play. You've got options traders. Option traders are doing nothing more than they're just kind of building a position or they're executing just on the day and they're just doing, again, an arbitrage. Where can they buy and sell the stock? Via trading the options. And then they're going to go out and hedge that with the stock. So here we had double signal. We had that. We had this to go up. It did not follow through because look at this. Here's the clue, guys. Your ATR indicator did not confirm this buy. Okay, the ATR did confirm this sell, the ATR held to this sell, and the ATR is now moving across here for that sell. So to me, I would think that we do have the possibility that this is going to slip down. Now, what do I want to do? Let's go over and just take a look at the eagle. I balance it against the two. I'm looking for, I'm looking, what does my eagle want to tell me? The eagle's telling you you need to kind of go ahead and get long. You've got the room, and the falcon's going to give you the little swing trades. The eagle's going to give you what can you going to go in? Are you going to make your $1 or $2? Very, very possible. And again, as an Elliott wave technician, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's done a 5-wave trade up. That sets me up a little bit longer on my day, and I'll explain that in a moment. But short term, this trend is going to go A, B, C down. And I can quickly run, we're going to call it 205 to 216. That's 11 points. So it can come off 5.5. Off 216, 5.5, 2011. So we're looking at 2010 or 210 to 211 are what I think we could get this stock to move down to. So when I'm looking at this signal, I'm looking, okay, I might get 2 points, I might get 1 point, and I'm going to really be paying attention to it. So now I'm developing my market awareness before I enter a trade. I'm really determining what's the possibilities of this trade. Where do I need to kind of keep an eye on? I'm going to let them flutter around. We've got the hard edge that has been broken. We've got the soft edge has been broken, but here's the key. Look how thin the curtain is. The curtain is not that big, so this has not developed. It's still not developed a downside play. If anything, until this inverts, so the hard edge comes to the bottom, as it did here, that's telling me, okay, this might just be a little bit of what I call a pullback within this up move. What is this up move doing? It's not doing nothing more than a pullback or a bounce against the severe downside that we saw last week. Okay, so you're building your market awareness. You're building what are the possibilities of these particular moves. So you can now begin to what I call tweak your strategy into how you want to trade this. And each individual stock and each individual index, you're going to build that market awareness because you're going to have to find out, you're going to have an understanding of what and how these stocks, what makes them tick, what keeps them going, what produces larger moves. And these are important to understand. And again, I'm not walking in making a comment about Tesla Motors. I'm not saying, gee, Tesla is a superior company or Tesla is a crappy company. Not at all. And I want to tell you something. Neither are the other traders. And that is important to bear in mind. Now, as we pull into the first hour of trade, I'm going to tell you things have come grinded to a halt. And it's very interesting. So what we've seen is we've seen the opening, we've seen traders move in. Those that needed to sell on the open, they did. They positioned themselves possibly on the short side. We have day traders that may have sold into it, then day traders reversed. As the algorithmic computers got turned on, they came in as a buyer. Again, this is nothing more. Tesla had an expiration on Friday, an options expiration. So what are those traders coming in? Those that need to balance their positions, that need to get flat, that needed to do whatever they needed to do. They bought up the stock. The market starts lower, the market races higher, and boom, now we get our picture. So this was the market moving lower right off the open, and then they bounced it higher. Tesla's going to follow. So you've got day traders in Tesla. They're going to come in and cover. They're going to get long. Now, so you've got your picture. You're building your picture. You're building your market awareness. Now, don't let all this overwhelm you. Bear in mind, let's take it down to the basics, guys. The basic is you're trading a number, and that's it. I'm not making a statement about Tesla Motors because, quite honestly, I love Tesla. I think they're an excellent car, and I think it is a company of our future. But I'm not making that statement, and I'm not going in there because I want to buy Tesla and hold on to it for 20 years. I want to buy Tesla and hold on to it for 20 seconds because I want my move and I'm out and I'm on to my next trade. Okay. Notice background, guys. Our signal generators have gotten very, very quiet. So what's going on? Nothing. And you need to pay attention to that as well. When nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Accept it and sit tight and wait for the market to resume and to come back. We're seeing the NASDAQ really kind of start to move lower. Now, what I tend to do is I always keep my future NASDAQ future market open. Why? Because all the stocks that I love to trade are members of the NASDAQ 100. So when they start to slow down and kind of not give me my bigger moves, like my $2 to $4 move, which has already happened, well, while they're figuring it out and kind of determining what they want to do, I come in and I trade the future, which is giving me that move. All right, trend long setup NQ. Boy, I'm glad we were here because there you saw it, and you're going to see how fast this market can move. Again, here we have, look at this. We had the hard edge inverted back here towards the top of the hour. It went from being up higher to lower, and that just indicated that the market was going to move up, and it did, following. Then we started to get signals that it was going to move lower. We got a signal to sell from the Eagle. We got confirmation with the ATR, but we didn't get a firm signal from the Eagle until the market broke the hard edge. Then we got a sell signal. Market played a little bit. Our ATR, if you would have taken your signal here, which I do sometimes, because the Eagle is recognizing that the possibility that there's a trend change in the works. And my market awareness told me that what we did is we did a quick 5 waves up. So I'm looking for a 3-wave reverse. So when I see that, I'm like, okay. Eagle's recognizing that there's a possibility this is going to change. The ATR indicator confirmed it. I likely would have entered a sell order here. This is my trail stop indicator. This kind of moves sideways, and what it's doing is giving credence and paying attention to what the buyers are doing. The buyers move back in. The Eagle gave us an indication, hey, we might go back up from here. And it gave the signal as the market broke above the soft edge. The ATR did not confirm it. That kept me short. My stop is right here. It almost got it, but it did not. So you continue to hold your short. Now you get a confirmation of some downside that came here as the market broke. Again, the hard edge this time in the curtain, and we get a sell signal. You're already short. You could have added to your position there. Now you're writing this down. Look at the curtain. The curtain is beginning to tell us that, gee, guys, this could really work out to be a little bit more severe than what people are thinking. The hard edge again inverted, but look what happened. Bing. Your ATR just confirmed that, well, that bounce might be done. Now, as soon as this gets above here, you're going to get a hashtag, bang, right there. And now we're getting buy signals, bang, right there. And so you can almost step in and see what we're looking for. This gave us the indication. So these shorts, you covered. You covered right there. When this inverts, that's where you go in and just buy it. You buy it back. You take your profit. You're moving on. Now what I'm looking for, I want some additional confirmation. Market's going to flirt around here with this hard edge at 27. But as it starts to break, I would think that, okay, if we even look at this, this could be our whole pullback. Remember what I said, ABC. So it's three. 1, 2, 3. So I'm thinking that what we got now is an additional run higher, which is going to be from here to here. We're measuring it. Wow, we got 40 points. 40 points. A possibility that this might end up back above 35.50. Now, if this trend, we're now getting to be where it might not, we can get a little bit of downside. I'm going to let the market kind of come in. You're seeing how quick this turns. Look how fast that turns. Why? Look at the size of the curtain. This was my point that I wanted to make before. When the curtain gets very, very thin, it can be very indicative it's going to be a period of choppiness. Choppy in terms of up, down, range bound. Label it however you choose. You're going to see it where it might get a little choppy. You got a buy signal, sell signal, buy signal, sell signal as the market chops around, searching for its own direction. That's all it's doing. And what's happening in between could be nothing more than we're seeing buy basket. So we've got the index arbitrage guys working, and they're coming in and they're just either flattening position or taking a position. Who knows? Who cares? But the fact is that they're participating and they're bringing with them fantastic volume. Now, again, sorry that I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit, but I just want to bring all these things in. You need volume. So please don't listen to any of this garbage about HFT traders and rigging the market and doing this other stuff. Because in actuality, yeah, they might be, but guess what? You don't care. You don't care and you can't. We're in there to participate. We're in there to trade every day. So I don't care what they're doing. What I do care about is the fact that they're bringing tremendous volumes with them. And when they bring those volumes, that allows you to trade. So let me tell you, here's my gig, guys. All I want to be is a gnat on the elephant's ass. And the elephant is the HFT trader. Let them go in and plow and trade hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of shares of what they want. I don't care. All I want to do is go in and trade mine. So a gnat on the elephant's ass, do you think you're going to be recognized? No. Do you think you're going to be able to push the market? No. And I don't care. I just want to be there to participate. And right now, we've got a sell signal, we've got a confirmation, and we got our move. Look at, got in at 26 or thereabouts, and this thing's now down at 19. Guys, that's $6. That's $6. It's 120 bucks on a one lot. My objective is 100. Okay, and you can sit here and do this all day. Can you do it in stocks? Absolutely. Let's go back and take a look at some. LinkedIn, I'm not going to pay attention to. So actually, you want to go and you want to, what next step I want to talk to. And again, this is an ongoing process. So I appreciate any comments that you want to make, any questions that you have, put them through in the question box. Any stocks that you like that you might think that, Jay, can you load this up into DTS and tell me how you would look at it? I'd be more than happy to do that. I don't mean to sound scattered, but there's so much information. And when the market's moving, I want to include that so that each one of us is going to get an indication. What I do to how I trade, I pull up my stocks that I think are going to make a move on that particular day based on what I saw in them on Friday, based on the fact that I think that they could be leaders in the overall broader indexes. Facebook, big stock, huge volume. Facebook has huge volume each and every day. Right now, for the first hour of trade, Facebook has traded 33.5 million shares. Thank you, guys. Thank you, HFT traders, for coming in. I love it. 33.5 million shares. Can I go in and trade 500 in and out? You betcha, without blinking an eye. They don't care. And I'm not concerned whether Facebook is a good company or a bad company. I think I have a lot of respect for Mark Zuckerberg for what he's done, but hey, I'm just in there to trade it for the day. So I'm going to allow the eagle to determine what is my trend. Right now, the eagle is telling us that the trend may be down. Well, we've already seen what our potential is. We've got a low at around 55 and a half. Let me just do a double confirm on this little puppy. Yeah, 55 and a half. This is our low. So that is potential where the market could return to. Let's see where the market is now. Market's at 56 and a half. So we got $1. Did you want to play that? Sure. It broke below the hard edge. We saw the hard edge invert here from being this produced more short sales, but when it broke above, it was a long, and that was a good trade. Again, same level where we are right now, 56 and a half, and it ran up to 58. Buck 50. Okay, so now let's pull in, how do I want to trade this? I'm looking for a buck, maybe $2. You're going to have to tweak your volume or your size, and what are you looking to make? If I'm looking to make a dollar in Facebook would be a $1 move in the stock if I was trading 100 shares. But if I'm thinking that all I'm really going to get out of this is 20 or 50 cents, then I'm going to increase my size so that I can get the move, so I can continue to make the trade that I'm looking for. Each one of us is going to determine what our trade objectives are. If your trade objectives are that you want to make $500 every trade that you do, maybe Facebook is not a stock for you. But Facebook still might be a stock because you feel that you're in the rhythm of Facebook and you're in and you've figured this out and you can ride along. That's great. Then you're going to have to adjust your size to fit what your objective is. And of course, size is and position sizing is going to be based on what your account size is. Now, trading equities, day trading equities, I'm not going to tell you something you probably don't already know. You have to have a $25,000 minimum balance or in your account to day trade stocks. Otherwise, you're going to get called and you're going to be told that you've got a margin requirement to meet. And of that $25,000, your size is going to be based on what you can margin. Okay? So 500 shares of Facebook at $58 is about $30,000. So now you can see how these things are all figured out by your clearing firm, by whoever you trade through. And you've got to meet the rules and the regulations, otherwise you're going to get shut down. So again, we're just day trading. Well, the SEC and FINRA, they came up with these rules for day trading, and you in equities market and in the options market, you have to have $25,000 in the account in order to day trade. If you trade more than 3 times in and out in the stock on a single day, you will get nabbed. The computers are already set up to pick up that type of trading, and they will come back. And if you don't have $25,000 in your account, you will be shut down until you do. So normally they allow you to do 3 day trades, which would be buying and selling or selling and buying, whichever you want to do, a day. And that they only allow, you are only allowed to do that per week. Okay, so per 5 trading days. You go outside of that, you're going to have more money in your account. And your clearing firm will shut you down and not allow you to trade until you do. So, just some of the rules. Okay, so back to what's going on. we're kind of sitting in. Yeah, the Dow. I mean, remember we were talking before we said that the Russell was leading the way down, and then that the Nasdaq kind of was falling in, and the Nasdaq was down almost 1%. The Russell did fall over 1%, and we were seeing and we were commenting on, gee, will the S&P and the Dow follow suit? Yeah, we've now got the Dow down about 0.5%. We've got the Nasdaq about 5/8, 0.75%. I think it will catch up. And these things will balance out, guys. They definitely will balance out. So, what we've seen already this morning, we've seen traders come in, position traders adjusting their position, day traders getting set, doing what they want to do. So, now we're into where what does the market want to do up until lunchtime? So, you have particular times during the day when you're going to see a lot of activity and you're going to, where it might be more difficult for buyers and sellers to kind of move the market. And then as we kind of roll into on the West Coast, 9 o'clock, East Coast, noon, that's the lunch hour. You can see a lot of manipulation in the lunch hour. And I don't call it manipulation. I'm just talking about that the market flips and flies because you've got um, people away from the market. That's the perception. Computers do not take lunch breaks. So they're going to continue to trade. Um, But in any case, that's kind of what we're working up against. We're working up against, they're getting back from their coffee breaks, and now we're going to see what they want to do. Um, I want to just see this little bit of news. You get them trying to interpret the news. And again, you've got to be aware of the nude, the nude, excuse me, the news. Not saying that we are necessarily going to take it for granted, because you're not. News will move markets. So you kind of have to keep an eye out for what is your market awareness for the day. What could change your market awareness? These are all important, and these are the way that I kind of move in. Now, I also run, in fact, let's just see if I can set this up. Come on. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. Let's move that back. Come on. Come on. All right, we'll give it a chance to catch up with me. One more time. Thank you. Uh, I want to kind of, yeah, this kind of happened. These guys moved over and I didn't want them to. I just reset this. I want to pull open. Yes, swing long. That is this. Let's take a look at this. All right, so what do I need to add? So I go in, I'm looking, Amazon. Wow, see Amazon. This is a stock that I really put up and I want to talk about a little bit. Amazon got its wind knocked out of it last week. Look at these ranges, guys. 20 points on Friday. 20 points, high to low. There you have it. Today, already, we're seeing 8 points. These are solid moves. What happened on Friday? It kind of, as you hear others talking about, and I will use, that scared the children. And we saw a lot of position changes. We saw a lot of sellers moving into the market, and they just went after the leaders of this whole rally. So the NASDAQ leaders, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Microsoft actually kind of jumping in there at the end, Netflix, Priceline, Tesla, Twitter. These are all stocks that have been huge by huge all the way up. They started to reverse. You either pay attention to that or you don't. I think when you don't pay attention to it, you walk in and you get your head handed to you. When you do pay attention to it, you're not surprised when they continue to kick it lower. And your indicators and your strategy is going to be reflective of the move. Now, this is the Falcon. The Falcon is our swing trader. Here, let's just take a quick peek over at the Eagle, which is going to give us a little bit longer move. Let's just see if I got to move this over. All right, let's take a look. This is just this morning. Okay, so we had the market. I love it. Boy, we should have been paying attention to Amazon. Amazon opens on its high and it fails and fails miserably. From 335, it just starts to head lower. The Eagle picks this up 1, 2, 3 and tells us sell it. It broke this. This is the curtain. And again, you see how thin that curtain got? It showed us this upside choppiness right there in the opening. That's what was indicative. But then it gave us a sell signal and it inverted and it went higher. And the ATR confirmed it. ATR confirmed it way back here, which coming in to start the day, the ATR was telling us, don't believe this, buy side. It's all going to go down. Boom, we get confirmation. Boom. It just walks this sweet, sweet trade all the way down. Again, $300 stock, guys. I'm running it on 89 ticks. I think you could increase this, and it's just going to open it up a little bit more to where it's going to, you're not going to get out here. It's going to carry this trade. Although you probably, if we go forward, it likely would have triggered you out because we see already that the stock did put in a recovery. But I want to capture a larger move. If I go over and look at the Falcon's going to be capturing all of these internal moves here, here, here. So my trend is more important because my trend is down. So I'm going to maybe throw 100 shares or 200 shares up, and I'm going to now let that work its way. And we see all the way down that the market, wow, this is very impressive. This is why I really love DTS, because it just protects you. Your ATR trail indicator kept you out of trouble, but kept your trade alive. While the market did what the market needed to do, and it just kept you alive. And it told you right here, uh-oh, we need to pay attention. We had a buy setup, and we had it confirmed, and then the market started to break the soft edge. When it didn't hold that soft edge, we got another signal of getting a choppy because it broke below the soft edge. You got a sell signal. It kind of followed through quickly. It was a quick 75 cents or so, maybe you got a buck. But then it started to test that soft edge, and we've got another signal to buy it. Boom, you go back in. Now let's see what happened. Look at that. So here, if you're going to, I will trade these signals, by the way. This is a long setup from the Eagle, was confirmed by the ATR. When I get that, it's a long setup on a red bar. I'm going to be cautious, okay, but the ATR kept me alive as the market continued to come down and just bounce on the soft edge. Now, the Eagle gave you a hard confirmation of the trade when it broke above the hard edge. The ATR kept your trade alive and let you run it up. Here you got a possibility. Hey guys, caution, we might be going back down. Guess what? Your ATR also recognized but kept your trade out of trouble, let the market do what the market wants to do, and kept your trade alive. So let's just take a look at this. You entered maybe here, we'll call it 322. Maybe you added at 325. Now you're riding. Here's your stop, your indicator, now switched and told you that the market may be going down. So if anything, as soon as you got that signal, maybe it was over in this bar, you're selling at 328. Is that a good profit? You betcha. You were buying at 322, we're calling it, and 325.30, we'll call it. And you're getting out at 328. Nice trade. 100 shares, 200 shares, you're set. You're making decent money on your day. Okay? Now, let's just kind of continue to move this way. Here we got our bounce. Now, what's the market wanting to do? It's going to resume its trend. And that trend was they're going to continue to kick the shit out of this market, excuse my language. And that's what we're seeing. Even the eagle, look how thin the curtain got. Bing, choppy. So when you're seeing that curtain get that thin, put your hands in your pocket. I mean, you could go in and trade this, but you're going to get stopped out more times than not. Because you can see you got a buy signal, sell signal, and they're 3 bars apart. And let's just check the time. 7:29, and your sell signals is 7:40. So within 10 minutes, you got bounced in and out. Now, this gave us a sell signal. It broke below, and you see it start to expand. Boom. Sell signal, boom. ATR confirms. This was a more solid signal to take. Even though you got confirmation here, your curtain is just too thin. So I might have even been cautious on this, but because of the depth that I got away from the curtain, I was a little bit more comfortable taking the sell than I would have been taking the buy because it's continuing to flirt right around that curtain. This is starting to break away from the curtain. Your ATR is now telling you, I'm just taking a peek, guys. When I hear my signals, I take a peek. Um, the ATR is now keeping your trade alive. And now look what happens. The hard edge inverts. It's now higher, which is confirming this downtrend, and it widens. Wow. So here, if you would have gotten in, again, remember, we had a sweet trade up there. This one, you got bounced a little bit. You may have entered there. You pay attention to what your signals are telling you. You got bounced. You made a little bit of money. You stayed out. You got back in. And here, you could have added to it if you chose, or you're just riding it. Let's just call it what it is. 325 again, and I'm going to round it down, guys. 325, 324. I'll round it all the way down. You got out. We'll even call it here 321. Again, 4 bucks on 100 shares, 400 bucks on 200 shares. You can do the math. All right, so Amazon must be flirting. Yeah, look at what we're doing. Lots of trading here in Amazon today, guys. Wow. Okay, so that's all the opening. Let's just quickly get back to the reel. And we're getting swing trades in Amazon, and that's noticing this trend. Excuse me. We're getting a little bit of an upside move. They're coming in, they're buying baskets of stock. And how do I know that? Because I remember this morning the New York tick, and that is symbol TICK. You may have in your system that they put an identifier in front of it. Again, I use TD Ameritrade or Thinkorswim platform, and that's the $, and those are indicators. So it's $TICK on the Thinkorswim, and that's telling me how many issues are being bought or sold at a particular moment on the New York, which is New York, Amex, ARCA, ICE now. Now, it's a pretty large amount. And the NASDAQ, okay, based on the NASDAQ 100. So, $TIKND. That's the tick NASDAQ. That's based on the NASDAQ 100. It's only 100 stocks. That's what's in the NASDAQ 100. Okay, this is obvious. So what's the max? It can go minus 100 or plus 100. And quite honest with you, I've never seen it do plus 100 or minus 100. I have seen, and we saw this on Friday, I believe, or one day last week, plus 93. That's an extreme. It's a huge extreme. I will, hopefully, if not, one of you guys remind me that I need to tell you how you want to trade the future against those baskets of stocks. When it gets to those extremes, oh boy, is that a sweet trade. I'll tell you all about that in a second. So I don't want to forget. In any case, when I'm watching the NASDAQ, right now we're seeing baskets being sold fairly large on the New York, it's about 650. We see, let's look at the extremes for the day. The extremes for the day are that it's only been up 595, but it's been down 936. So the sellers are stronger than the buyers. Okay, so what does this help to tell me? It helps to tell me that when the eagle is going to be identifying a downtrend, you're going to want to let that sucker run because that's where you're going to make your bigger money. And you're going to play the shorter term, the swing trades, maybe on the upside, but you're going to tweak your strategy. So where you're going to come in and you're going to be able to move in and out of the market more quickly. I'm not looking for $2 or $3 or $4. I'm getting it in Amazon because it's a $325 stock. But if you're looking at Facebook, you're going to have to maybe be happy with 25 cents, 30 cents, up to 50 cents. Can Facebook move a dollar? You bet it can. Can it do it quickly? You bet it can. Can it reverse? Yes. For example, we've seen it up over a dollar. It's now up a dime. So yeah, it can reverse and it will. But when you're trying to play the intraday moves, you got to be able to adjust your size, your profit target, and your stop. That's tweaking. So these are all things that you're going to have to get into the pattern of doing to fit your strategy, to fit what you're looking to do each and every day. So when I talk about market awareness, it's like I'm building, and that's going to help me determine how I want to trade on that particular day. Do I want to stick to the NASDAQ future? More than likely, because actually right now, I'd be keeping my eye on Amazon. I've been listening, see, because you can tell that I have my audibles set up where it's going to tell me trend long setup, Amazon, trend short setup, Amazon, swing. It gives me swing and long, but it identifies which particular stock that happens to be in. There you go, trend long and Q. So we're seeing some buying come into the market right now. So I would, if say I'm paying attention to Amazon, I'm going to look, bing, am I surprised? No. See what happened? We got a buy signal, we got a confirmation, now we're up here. The eagle is not going to give us that buy signal until it really breaks above the hard edge, which you can do very quickly as you watch. You're seeing how quickly you can do that. Now I want to go over very fast. Let's just take a peek. What is the Falcon telling us? Again, we have our day ranger, so we know we have the range. The Falcon confirmed. Look at this. Put in the low, and the Falcon told us, whoa, guys, you want to pay attention. You might want to buy this. Next bar up, the ATR confirms it. We got a hashtag. That was the get set. That was right there. 318.75, we'll call it, guys, okay? 318.75. Bam. Now we're riding it up. Look at that sweet trade. So let's just load up our DTS. Excuse me, let me load up Trade Manager. Trade Manager, I really don't have the time to kind of go over, but this is the most wonderful addition. You must have it. It's your link to put your orders in, but it position sizes for you. It runs your risk for you. It keeps your trails going for you. And when you're trading multiple markets, it is a gem. It's a blessing. to have. So you can just go put your trade on, set your prices. For example, say I really like this, I can go Bing and say I want to go there and there and there. Yeah, and I got to round it down because of my size. But it's going to position size for you. In any case, we got a really sweet trade, and it was a swing. Now, keep that in mind. Let's keep an eye out, right? Keep that in mind. This is the Falcon. Falcon is just giving us the swing trades. My guess here, guys, it's going to go up, come down a little bit, maybe right into here, and then run again to the upside. Now, I'm going to go back to my eagle. What's the eagle telling me? Eagle is telling me, you might get a little bit of a buy side here, guys, but it has not signaled a trend change yet. So it's a swing trade. It's a bounce in an ongoing downside right now move. Falcon is telling us we got to swing higher. You might want to catch it. In Amazon, it produces $2 to $3. Sweet trade. In the Eagle, it's saying, I'm not that excited about that yet, guys. I have signaled here to recognize that we're moving higher, but I ain't confirming the trend. And it peaked its little nose above the hard edge right here, but it's not hanging on. Set one up, it tested it. So what we may get is a slide back to this level, maybe even a little lower, and then we get another run up. Amazon, because it got the wind knocked out of it last week, is a stock that you're going to want to pay attention to. Again, big ticket stock. $320 is $320. 100 shares, guys, is $32,000. You need to be able to margin that, and you need to be able to intraday margin it. So account size is important in choosing which stocks you want to trade. If you want to be an equity trader, but you really love Amazon, you really love Apple, you're going to have to come in with a fairly sizable account to be able to trade them. Now, DTS, the Eagle, the Falcon, the most beautiful instruments you can plug in, and you can put Apple and you can put Amazon into those, and you can sit there and pay attention to them day in and day out and make your money. When Apple or Amazon tends to go slow or a very small range, which we've seen, maybe they only trade $1, maybe they only trade $2. There are other issues that you can then load up and you can then go and find out. There's always going to be something to trade. This is what's important to understand. Don't get hung up on a single market. You have a plethora of equities, ETFs, and futures indexes that you can choose from. There was always something to trade. And understand that the flavor of the week, what I mean, whatever stock may be the flavor of the week, you want to go in and participate. I'm not in love with any of these stocks. I may have an opinion outside of all this on Amazon as a company, on Tesla as a company, but when I step into the arena to trade, all bets are off. I'm there to trade for the day. I'm not making any claim to know what the market's going to do. I'm going to allow the market to tell me and then trade accordingly. I hope that makes sense. Right here, Amazon's kind of sitting in the no man's land. I really think we're going to be lining up for another trade here. But right now, we're not really getting it. So again, had you gone in here, your stops are nicely in place. In fact, it's right there. And now it's moving sideways. Yeah, swing long. We got to swing short. Now we're getting swing long. What's that tell you? Well, the market's making a decision here. So you just keep your stop right there. If you're like, you know what? I'm happy. I like that. I got long at 1877. Market's at 1870, 1977. You know what? I'm going to take my dollar. These are decisions you get to make. And again, each one of us has our own trading style. I love the whole action of trading. I like moving in, moving out. I love trading the futures market and equities markets too, because it gives me that opportunity. My own experiences is that I began trading in 1979. I was on the Pacific Stock Exchange here in San Francisco. I was a market maker, and it's a whole different world than being standing on a floor trading as a market maker to now trading more what I would consider retail because I sit in front of a computer and the crowd is somewhere else. So a lot of the adjustments that I've needed to make in trading is I cannot have an opinion. I can have no opinion on what the economic, I mean, I may, on what I think the economy's doing, what I think the market's going to do, what I think a particular stock should do. You know, for example, they're running Amazon above 400. Do I think that's fair value? I don't really care. During the time, I don't really care. I may have that conversation after, somebody may choose to say, hey, let's talk about Amazon. I might want to talk about it. But during, no. When a market's moving, you need to be able to jump in and participate. So it's being able to step into the chaos, filter out the noise, and take advantage of the low hanging fruit. Remember, we're a gnat on the elephant's ass. We don't care. I don't care why the market's going to move up or lower. All right, trend short set up Amazon. So we just got the eagle telling us, hey, pay attention. But the falcon gave us a swing short Amazon. So again, there is some downside here. Here we are. If you chose to take the trade, you could set the trade up or you could just move in this way. See, right now, the bid offer is a little bit wide. It's a 30-cent wide market. I don't want to get caught in that. So I may not hit the bid, but I may miss this trade. Right now, it's frozen in time. There you go. All right, got that. I That's kind of crazy. All right, so you can see how quickly that reversed. Now, what happened? My stop did not get put into place. I understand that, and for what a, and you're being told it didn't get put in. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to turn right around, and I am going to put it in. I put my stop in. If you're getting a signal and you go in and I sold it based on this signal, and your stop does not get put in, you better put it in because you can see that this market, in fact, I should have been triggered. Lucky me. Um, I'm risking this. Okay, so where do I want to buy this? All right, so now I'm going to set it up since I didn't do set my prices because I moved in quick. I think it come down to here, and that's about 80 cents. Buy there. So instead of setting my prices, I went in and set my trade up altogether. Now, remember what I said previous. We're getting a bounce here. So here, here, and here. Why did I enter this trade? Well, I thought, okay, maybe we get a little bit of a downswing. It finishes that inside move. And the Falcon was kind of giving me some confirmation that that might be the case. The Falcon basically was telling me, no, no, you're going to want to sell it here. And why? Because it's going to swing. We got the swing higher, but it didn't take me out. And I'm blessed that it didn't because it went up and touched it and it still might. So what I might do is just increase that a little bit. Yeah, let's go up to the top of the range. So we'll let it break. And I'm going to give it a little bit of room to kind of come down and maybe finish this off. So Again, we're not making any clues as to what Amazon does, is a good company, nothing. I'm playing this move and I'm trading my signals. And this all lines up. It told me to sell my very short-term momentum indicator. It is a little bit overbought. Market slows down. And if we get a little bit of a downturn, I think they could move it lower. And I'm not looking for the end of the world here, gentlemen. I am only looking for, well, I got 70 cents. So we can kind of let that go. Let's go over. I want a little confirmation. Let me take a look. What are you telling me, Eagle? The Eagle has not confirmed that there's going to be a change. It kind of, the ATR is telling you, this is where your stop is. So you're not riding it higher. We're going flat right here. There's my exit. That's where I'm willing to get out on the Falcon. That's where it's telling me there's a possibility it can come to. Love it. So now I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit more comfortable with my trade. But this might be an area that if it comes down there, I think that our ATR and our Eagle may tell us to move in on the long side. Okay? We're developing a market awareness and we're developing our own little intraday strategy on how do we want to trade Amazon. Now that I've kind of kept that in mind, I'm like, you know what? It's not really doing me any favors. It's kind of doing what it needs to do. What's the future doing? Okay, I'm going to come over here and look at the future. We had a bounce up. Well, Facebook. Okay, we got stopped out on Amazon. So let's just go over and take a look. Yeah, you see, it went up. And because that was all you were going to get. So, and we got that, and it inverted, and it stopped us out. That's why you have the stops in place, because now it's telling us to buy. So, okay, let's take this. We may not get it, but again, we're talking about a market that is 30 cents, 40 cents wide. So you might get a little bit of momentum going on the upside here. I don't know. But get used to taking hits. If you're not, then you really have to focus on what's going on. So I use stops, and if my stops get triggered, it's okay. But nobody likes to take a loss, but they're a part of the game and they're protection because I want to get back up and I want to trade again. Without a stop, I'm still sitting short because, oh man, I know this market's going to come lower. Well, guess what? Now I'm missing the next three trades. Now this, I don't think I'm long, but you're going to have to give it that much room. Well, let's set our target on where we want to sell it. And if I'm going to do quickie, I could go to 1740 to 2040. That's about $3. And right here, 19. So I'm looking at 22. I'm going to come in just below 22. Come on, give it to me. And I'm going to sell. Okay. I'm 1-to-1 risk reward. Let's see if we can get it. And hopefully this won't because I didn't set my price, but I'd like to see this. If I'm going to manage this trade, I'm going to pull up my stop. And I may pull up my stop to here. I'm going to start to manage my trade. And I'm going to try to let it develop. Again, I'm only using very small because we're just demonstrating, okay? And you don't want to jump into a market and trade 1,000 shares of stock because you can get your head handed to you. But so far, so good. What do I want to do? I'm going to move my stop up more. And I'm following my ATR. I'm following my ATR. Not you decide, you know what? That was enough for me. You can see how quickly it comes back. Boom. And that's against because remember we had $110 loss. I took 50 back, and so you get a little bit. I'm doing that quickly because I'm going to move on, and so that was just for demonstration purposes. I may have sat and managed it, but I may have continued to move that stop up. Remember, our stop was here. Oh, actually, it was here. So, but that's what I'm paying attention to. What's the market want to do? So you had a decent little profit there. We could have gotten out maybe up there, but market reversed. So you just want to pay attention. Now, I'm going to come over here to the good old NQ. What's my eagle telling me? Eagle telling me that a trend trade is suggested. Okay. And what? They're telling me that we have a very strong possibility. Bing, bing. Now, Amazon did not hold, guys. Swing short, Amazon. Hear that? Yeah, so we might getting a turn here. So you're getting this. Again, we're working against a very tight curtain. And we're not getting any confirmation just yet from the ATR. But I have a feeling that when the ATR, if this thing breaks here, the ATR is going to shoot up. And we're getting a double signal there. So sell, sell. We're getting another sell. So you're already, if you were short, you're short about 21.25. Market bounced back up. Certainly has room, momentum-wise, to build a little bit of downside. Again, this curtain is real thin, and that's putting caution that we could get a little period of some choppiness right in here. So you want to kind of pay attention to that. All right, guys, we're now moving into our last 8 minutes here. I'm going to open this up. If you have any questions, please ask. I'm going to put in my email address. Come on. Thank you. And you can feel free to send me an email if you have a question, if you got a stock. I'm going to go back to this NQ trade. Look at that. We got short, we got confirmation, we got a double confirmation. You got short at 1975, $3 in your pocket. Thank you. Next. You're seeing this? We're in here to trade, to move in and out. I'm a gnat on the elephant's ass. I don't care what the market wants to do. Just do something. I'm paying attention to my signals. I've got a double confirmation. It tells me to go ahead and short it. I'm not going to be afraid. I just go ahead and go in. This is pulling into a little bit of an oversold. So, okay, I'm looking. I got $4 out of it now. Thank you. On a one lot, 160 bucks. No, yeah, 80. Excuse me. Two lot with 160. My objective is 100. I'm there all day. I'm in and out, and that's the name of the game. So, guys, one more time. Any questions before we close out for today? We'll reconvene tomorrow. Um, I'm going to go through my opening process. I'm going to go through how I view these stocks. I'm going to go through, if anybody is an options trader, please let me know because I can include some how I trade options, how I would build an options position, what I'd be looking for. Uh, so we can definitely include that. Yeah, I'm getting a little buy basket there. Tomorrow I may start to talk about trading futures against the baskets and how I do that. Um, but please forward questions to me, forward stocks that you want to see to me. Let me know what it is that you want to learn. And that helps to guide me towards telling you, to making sure that I include these things into what we do. Right now, I'm going to tell you that my focus today, where am I going to focus? I'm going to focus here on the NASDAQ, and I'm going to focus on Amazon. There could be other ones that could be really solid. For example, they're buying IBM up today. They're buying Hewlett Packard up today. But these I think these will end up being failures. If we're really in a larger correction, those stocks are not going to hold up the rally. But we're seeing a rotation of money out of these NASDAQ leaders. They got to go put it somewhere. And they're choosing IBM and they're choosing Hewlett Packard. Why? Because they underperformed. So somehow they're thinking they're going to continue to underperform on the way down. I think this is a folly and a setup, and I wouldn't be buying into either one of those. And I'll tell you why tomorrow. Check out volatility. You want to look at the volatility percentile, the implied volatility percentile for each of those stocks. Right now, I bet you Hewlett Packard is below 7%. That's a humongous complacency reading. Obviously, there's people moving into that stock. They don't think it can go down. Boy, are they in for a surprise if it does. And you'll see volatility pop. Oh, excuse me. So in any case, we are winding this one up for today, guys. I'm looking at the NASDAQ future right now, continues to tell me a trend trade. So I'm listening to the Eagle. Right now, your stop is there if you're looking for a little bit more, but I tell you, I got in and out. If you shorted it, I'm here. I love it. $4, thank you. I'm on to the next trade. They're looking at that they're now got this thing back to doing nothing. So it could be very interesting. NASDAQ future, Amazon. Let me just kind of lower that. What else we got? LinkedIn. I'm going to find out why this thing crashed on me. That my poor Falcon chart. I mean, close it out and rebuild it. LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn's giving you the moves, and it's a recovery, and it's already down $3 off of its high. Nice, nice. That was the high. Look where it's trading. Sweet. So we're going to continue to see this. LinkedIn's got more downside. See, this is the thing. You gotta get in. And I think tomorrow, what I'll start to also demonstrate is rolling between the stocks and setting up trades and just kind of, being able to get in to some of these moves. Because some of them you will get and some of them you won't. And if there's, again, I like to focus on stocks that I think are going to give me the moves on the day, which is why I just said NASDAQ future. Amazon's definitely moving. LinkedIn's actually doing some nice moves. Tesla's doing some nice moves. So the stocks that I chose were the ones that I saw get beat up on Friday. So if they're going to swing, if they're going to recover, I would suspect that they're going to recover more than $1, $2, $3, and we're going to continue to get that larger intraday range. And that's the name of the ticket. Here in Tesla, it's already $11.20. That's our intraday range. Friday, we had a $17, almost $18 intraday range. You gotta love that. But you got to have the account size that's going to be able to handle the stock. You've got to be in a position where you can day trade the stock. So remember, there are rules. If you don't meet the rules, you'll be shut down real quick. And that's about going to wrap it up for me, guys. Again, any last minute questions? Please feel free to send them across in the question box. And if not, I'm going to take a quick break to grab some breakfast. And I am going to be focusing on, wow, we've got the Russell. There's some market awareness. The Russell back down over 1%. Pay attention. Your market leader is the Russell on the way down, on the way up. If the Russell doesn't turn and start to head higher, I will not expect the balance of the market to do that. I would not be looking for the market to plant and firm and move in a solid rally. So you saw the turn in the Russell, and that contributed to the NASDAQ. Here's something that I will add for tomorrow. It is an ETF. It is a leveraged ETF. It is based on the Russell 2000 future, and the symbol is TNA, Tom, Nancy, Ann, TNA. TNA is a leveraged ETF that's whole objective is to perform or create a 300% return of the benchmark. The benchmark is the NASDAQ, is the Russell 2000 future. If the Russell 2000 future is down 1%, the TNA will be down 3%. So I'm going to show you how I load that up into DTS Eagle and Falcon. We'll do that tomorrow. So how I load that stock up and how you want to trade it. It's a fantastic trading vehicle. It is perfect for equity traders who want to be more in line and trade something that's a little bit more like a future. The future in the Russell 2000 moves at $10 a tick. You can equate that into the TNA and not be really and control your risk a lot tighter. So TNA is a fantastic trading opportunity, trading instrument, a tight bid ask, daily volume right now in excess of 5 million contracts. The Russell 2000 future is still trading less than 100,000. So it just, you balance it out, it's like they're all going over and they're trading TNA. So I will show you that tomorrow. That does it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for coming in today. Again, I sent my email. Feel free to email me any questions, stocks that you may want to look at, and I'll see everybody tomorrow morning.